Let's see. I don't see myself in the screen yet. Well, apparently we're on. Ah, there we are. Good evening, guys. 2nd of July, 8 o'clock, as far as I can see. So we're going to do another webinar. Welcome, everybody. My name is Erik. I'm going to be your host. We're going to be doing a webinar on communication and on confidence tonight. I got very nice data to share with you. So welcome, everybody. Glad that you're here. We're on YouTube tonight. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Also, everybody here, welcome on Zoom. I think we have a few latecomers. It's obviously summer holidays. It's not too crowded. Nicolene, it's great to have you. Somebody from my own country. Like I said, my name is Erik. I didn't properly introduce myself. I'm actually from Holland, from the Netherlands. Been in Ireland for about 2 years now. Bear with me. My English is not always super fluent, not always perfect, but I hope we'll just get along fine. And Mohammed, good to have you here, man. Nice to have you on board. Of course, everybody else on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, great to have you here as well. I was expecting a few more people because I think we had about roughly more than 20 registrations on Meetup. We had almost 10 registrations, I think, on Eventbrite. So probably some people might actually pop in a little bit later. We'll welcome them. Yeah, we actually can just get started now. Maybe as a little bit of an introductory thing here. There's a question I always ask, like, where are you from, and basically why are you joining tonight? What's the purpose for you to join? That might be nice to share, so we have a bit of a reality. Why you're here, where you're from, is nice to get to know each other. Like I said, I'm from Holland, Netherlands. 2 years in Ireland. I got 2 kids. I'm 56 years old. I've been living in a number of countries in Europe. I've also been living in the Caribbean and Latin America. I like to roam around, like that pirate style, if you will, as a type of life and living. I see that Ilona has just joined us. Great, nice to have you. All right, and a few more people are just coming in now. Barry, thank you for joining again. I saw you disappearing from the chat, maybe some technical things, but happy to have you. So my first question to all of you is, the chat is open. Maybe you want to share tonight, where are you from, and why did you choose this webinar tonight to attend? Drop something in the chat. Ilona, good evening, beautiful people. Yes, Ilona, good evening to you. So while you're actually, I hope you're going to pop something in the chat. Why are you here? Why did you choose this webinar, particularly communication? Maybe you want to share that. While you do that, let me start by clearing up the word communication itself. I see that we have Thijs waiting to join. That is fantastic. Mohammed, you're from Virginia, USA. That's awesome. Ilona, you're from Poland and you're living in the UK. Nice. Okay, Nicolene, you want to improve communication. Awesome. That is fantastic. All right, so let's start with the origin of the word itself. So as far as I could trace it back, it apparently comes from Latin. Now, a lot of English is actually derived from Latin. Communication, the same. Here we go. All right, that's the English word communication. It is almost the same in Latin. You just add em and you get communicationem, or whatever it's pronounced. I hope I'm a bit accurate here. So communicationem. And what does that mean? It means to share. It means to divide out. It means to impart. and in short, it means to make common. And the fun fact here, common, is actually part of the word communication itself here. And that common actually goes back all the way to the year 1300, and it means belonging. It means belonging to all. All right, now I thought it was a quite a crack to start with that, because as you will see when we go through the webinar, that all these definitions really apply to what we're going to do tonight. To make common, to share, to divide out, to impart, etc. Now, let's see, who do we have? Okay, Ilona. Aha, communion. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, if you start clearing up words, if you start clearing up derivations, etymology, gosh, I can tell you, you're going to have a ball game. It's fantastic. Just go to etymology online, and next time you're looking for an English word, look it up. It's just amazing. Sometimes you'll be blown away by where it's coming from, and you get the deeper meaning of the word itself. Good. Who else do we have? Kanishka, you came. You came to the webinar. Fantastic. Welcome, Kanishka. Charvi, you're also here. Welcome, Charvi. I'm happy to have you. Good. I think that's it. Thais, Santos, where are you from, Thais? Are you from Portugal, from Brazil? That sounds very Portuguese or Brazilian to me. Good. So maybe you still want to let us know why you came to this webinar, where you're from. That was my first question. Now, I'm just going to wipe out something, and I'm going to ask you the next question. Good. Here we go. Now, have you ever felt difficulty to start a conversation? Has that ever occurred? Maybe you were really interested in talking to a person, but you just didn't know how. Have you ever felt difficulties to start a conversation? Or have you ever felt difficulties to keep a conversation going? Or have you ever had this problem that you couldn't really seem to end off a communication? This other person just went yap, 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 and it was just impossible to get anything in between and end that conversation. Have you ever run into one of these situations? Difficulty starting a conversation or keeping the conversation going, to build some common ground or whatever, or that you felt, gosh, I don't know what to do to end this off properly. Have you ever run into that? All right, Brazil. Ms. Santos, you come from Brazil. Okay, that's fantastic. I've been to Sao Paulo. Absolutely loved it. Felt homesick when I had to go back home. Okay, Mohammed. All right, how to keep it going with a new person? Yeah, all right. Good. Thais, the same. Okay, hi all. Bernie, learning new ways. Kanishka. Okay, also a yes. Good. So I want to look at these things tonight. How can we actually improve that? How can we actually improve that? And I got this very, very handy booklet right here that actually tells you a lot about what communication is. I'm going to give you examples tonight from that booklet. Also drills that you can do at home with a friend, with a partner, to really step up on your confidence to talk freely to anybody on any subject. That would be a tremendous freedom. If you could talk on any subject to anybody, you're quite a powerhouse. So this booklet is from L. Ron Hubbard. You'll find him 3 times in the Guinness Book of Records. It's one of the most acclaimed and most published authors of all time. And he did a lot of research in the field of the mind and life. And so I'm just going to start off with a quote here. And he says the following: "A man is as dead as he can't communicate." A man is as dead as he can't communicate. He is as alive as he can communicate. All right, strong words. So let's actually have a look what communication is all about. Now, let's just start off with a very, very, very simple example. Here we have Mr. A, and Mr. A has an idea. And actually, he wants to get an idea across to Mr. B. Very simple, yeah? We're actually doing this all the time. Right now, ideally, Mr. B here makes 100% copy. Ideally, Mr. B makes 100% copy of what he just received from Mr. A. Good. So, here's the question. What would happen if Mr. B doesn't make an exact copy? He doesn't really get it. There's not 100% copy. There's a 50, 60, 70, 80% copy. What would happen if Mr. B does not make an exact copy of what he just got? Okay, Nicolene, you say confusion. All right. Ilona, well, I'm Mr. B at the moment. Okay, well, we're going to do something about it, Ilona. Thais, okay, one option would not be the full attention listening. All right, thank you very much. And yes, of course. Okay, let's see, anybody else? Okay, please show the booklet or share the author so I can look it up at Amazon. Okay, Ilona, so I'm going to show you the booklet again. It's that booklet. I will be referring to this throughout in this webinar. So and at the end of the webinar, I will actually give you a link. So that makes it really, really easy for you to avail yourself of your own copy. Yeah, it's very easy to get. It doesn't cost you much. So for a little, a very, very small investment, you can make quite some strides ahead in life. Good. Okay, so first of all, maybe you guys have had some kind of let me see. One new message. Where are we? Okay, Bernie hasn't grasped the whole concept. Thank you very much. We're gonna make this more clear tonight in case that you didn't get it, but I think you probably meant that Mr. B didn't get the whole concept. Now, we probably also get a confusion with Mr. A. Where are we heading with this? Now, maybe in school, secondary school, or later on, maybe actually you got a few lessons or a lesson that was about communication. And also in psychology, they have this idea that if there's not 100% copy made, that there might be noise. And you may have heard about this whole thing. All right, somebody's not really getting across, and the cause of that would be noise, as if there is some kind of a barrier. Now, to some extent, that might be true, but it's a very, very, very poor observation. To just say, okay, well, there's noise, and for that reason, people don't really understand each other. It's a very poor observation. We're going to dissect that whole thing about communication itself and then see where does it break down, and where exactly does that misunderstanding come from. So, because you have probably been in a bar, you've probably gone to a disco, and there was a lot of noise, and it was loud, and you have noticed that you were in close communication with somebody, and you understood each other very, very well. And then probably during certain moments, you had this idea, oh my God, I just lost something. I'm not tracking any longer. I'm missing out here. Good, so let's have a look. What else is actually involved? Let me just read in the chat quickly. Kanishka, this happens with me every time when my boss speaks, as he uses high technical words. Most of the time I'm blunt and don't know what or how to react. Thank you very much. Dita, I have a Zoom screen here for some reason. Thank you very much, Kanishka. Yeah, let's go into that. And let's do that right now. All right, now, so the whole idea is that, first of all, you see two people in the screen. And we're going to go a bit off on a philosophical road. And that is, for Mr. A to get something across to Mr. B, Mr. A has to be cause. And what do we actually mean by Mr. A is cause? Well, what we actually mean is that Mr. A is the source point. He is the point of emanation. He is the point where something is being brought forth. Now, let me elaborate on that. There's moments that in your life that you really got things done. And when you really got things done, this meant you caused that to happen. You made that happen. You caused it. You were being caused. The opposite would be that things would actually happen to you. And at that moment, you were not really caused. You were rather on the receiving point, not the emanation point. You were on the receiving point, and you could say that you were effect. Now, both words are actually used in communication. But first of all, in order to get anything across, you need to be very stable. And stable as a point of emanation, a point of origin, in other words, to be cause. Now, this will get very, very clear to you if I ask you this question. Have you ever felt shaky or nervous or uncomfortable talking to a person? Just please pop it in the chat. Have you ever felt shaky or nervous or uncomfortable talking to a person? Could have been, let's say, your boss, could have been your superior, could have been during, let's say, a job interview, could have been during, for example, maybe when you had to do a presentation. But just that feeling that you kind of like felt shaky and nervous and uncomfortable just having to talk. Okay, let's see what we're getting. Okay. So Thais, thank you. Yes. Kanishka, yes. Ilona, yes, sir. All right. That is very What can I say? I feel humbled. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Nicolene, uncomfortable ties. Okay, sometimes I think too much and I just block myself. All right, now, ties. Yeah, I can totally relate to blocking yourself. We actually have other webinars on that subject. That tells you exactly why that keeps happening to you and how you can fix that. Yeah, there's something behind this. I will just touch upon it slightly, but it's not the topic of tonight of communication. But there's something there that can take over the control. Okay. Now, so most of you have actually felt that sometime or another, that you felt shaky, nervous, uncomfortable. What does that mean? It means that you were not cause. You were not a 100% cause. Oh, and what do we mean by that? What do we mean by 100% cause? This is the ability, first of all, to comfortably be there. So, let's say you're facing another person, an HR director, a company owner, somebody that you need to talk to because you need to discuss something which might be quite serious. And if that would make you feel very nervous, then you would not be there comfortably. Something would take over, make you panic, and you couldn't comfortably be there. That is to say, you were not really at cause. Good. Now to just go into that slightly, in our mind we make pictures. And we do that all the time. If I would say, think about primary school, you probably get a picture. If I would say, well, think about the living room where, in the house where you grew up, you probably get a picture. Yeah, your mind makes pictures. So I could just go into that very, very quickly. Let's say you get a whole bunch of pictures, nicely going back in time. Everything is recorded in time. Some of these pictures actually have charge. You think back about it. You think back of a painful moment. You think back of a moment of grief. You're connecting to that pain, that mental pain, physical pain, and right now that pain takes over. However, that pain can be triggered consciously. It can be triggered inadvertently during circumstances, and all of a sudden it just happens to be there. Now it starts to control you. When that happens, you're no longer really at cause. That is what I mean. So the first requirement in any conversation, in any communication, the first requirement is simply that ability to be there. Simply to be there, to share the space with somebody else, and you not being strained, not being nervous, not being uncomfortable, not looking into your mind, not going figure, not thinking, oh, I can't do this, oh, my nerves are killing me. No, none of that. Basically, the first requirement is for you to simply be there. Now, you can imagine if we actually look at things like this, you can see that it is a skill. It is actually a skill, and it is a skill that you can learn. Now, that's the beauty of the booklet, because what does the booklet do for you? It's going to tell you all about what is communication, and nicely lays that out for you picture-wise, so you can fully grasp it. But then you're also going to find drills, exercises you can do nicely written down with how you do the drill, what is the purpose of the drill, what is the end result that you are going to achieve. And so that's the beauty. So the first requirement is simply to be there. I'm going to wipe out something just for you guys. Are you tracking? Are you tracking? Let me know in the chat if I made that first part very clear to you. Are you tracking? Okay, all right, Thijs. Well, good. So, the first requirement, number one. The other thing I could say about it, being there, is you simply being you, simply being yourself in the best condition that you could be in. Just being you. No additives, no figure, no crazy, things that you don't want. But being the way that you are when you're with your best friends. Being the way that you are when you're like totally relaxed. Being the way that you are when you're happy. You want to be in that condition, in that state, at any given time, ideally, when you're having communication with anybody. Now, obviously, let's say you could simply be in the same space with somebody who's hostile, who's angry, who is upset, maybe who's in tears, and likewise be in that same space with somebody who's utterly bored, or maybe slightly interested, or maybe conservatistic or enthusiastic. If you could handle all these different emotions and still have the ability to be, I can tell you that is an amazing skill. Now, the drills will actually get you there if you continue with those drills. Good. So obviously, if that point is in, simply being there, now there is a second requirement to get that idea across. And the next requirement actually is to look at a person. Now, have you ever seen somebody doing this staring contest? You can see that with martial arts, yeah. You can see that with MMA fights. You got these two opponents, and they're just standing there, and they're looking the opponent in the eyes, and they kind of like they keep it up. And maybe you've ever done such an exercise in school. Maybe you've seen people doing that. You'll find out soon enough that when people do that, they can keep it up for a number of seconds, and then all of a sudden they go into laughter because they simply can't do that any longer. They start to feel uncomfortable. They could do it for some time, and then something kicked in, and for some reason they couldn't do it anymore. Now, in some countries, like probably Asian countries, I've heard that it's in some cultures you're not supposed to look people in the eye. You're more supposed to be humble and look kind of down, or look downward. And then with certain people, like for example, criminals, people who have something to hide, if you look at them directly, they might actually get hostile with you and go like, what do you want? Something like that when you look at them too much. So there's definitely something going on here with looking at a person. Now, let's just turn it around and let me ask you a question. Let's say you want to get somebody's attention, right? And you really want to get something across to that person. But that person is not looking at you. That person is like looking there, and looking there, and looking there, and you're talking, and that person doesn't make eye contact with you. You're talking, but that person simply, you can't make that person to make eye contact. All right. So here's the question. How do you feel if you're talking to somebody who doesn't make eye contact? Pop something in the chat. How do you feel talking to a person who doesn't make eye contact? All right, Ilona, I can see, yeah, eye contact is very important, but it can be creepy. Thank you very much. All right, they don't want to be there with you. Chichi, okay. I didn't see you coming in before, but nice to have you here, Chichi Brown. I feel that he or she is not listening to me. Okay, Thais, I feel the person isn't interested. Nicolene, I think it's strange. Tinky, Chichi, you're welcome. Okay, well, what does it tell you? What it tells you is very simple. That person doesn't make eye contact. Number one here, the first requirement is missing. He is not really there. Do you get that? He's not there. I mean, you can see his body. Obviously, the body is obviously there, but mentally, spiritually, that person is somewhere else. He's not there. You get that point? The person that you're talking to a person, he's not making eye contact. What happens there? If that is Mr. B is simply not there. So it tells you that when you cannot make that kind of eye contact, that you also have difficulty to be there. Now, there's a bit more to eye contact, and I'm going to give you another example. So let's say you and me were having a direct conversation here. All right? Now, while I'm talking to you, I'm actually going to pay attention to my watch. And so I'm just talking, but I'm actually looking at my watch. So what do you do at that moment? If we are in a conversation and I am talking to you, but I am actually looking at my watch, where does your attention go? Does your attention stay on my face, or does your attention go to my watch? Pop that in the chat if you want. This is irritant, okay? All right, tells the person not interested in judging me or what I'm saying, okay? Chichi, to your watch. Thank you very much. Okay, yeah, there's something funny going on here, right? Looking at the phone is even worse. All right. Do look at the door at that point. All right, this is hilarious. Thank you, Ilona. Yeah, so what is going on here? Now, if I'm going to change that word look, for another word, it makes it clear. We're going to change the word look for attention. You want to be given attention. That's all you want. Hey, can you listen to me? You know, you've said that at some point, right? To somebody, which is like, give me some attention, please. So If I would be looking at my watch, you would feel you're not getting the attention. There's something very, very funny about attention that you just noticed. Let's say you go into your village or you go into your town or city, and you go like to a busy square or whatever, and you simply look up. You simply look up. What do you think the pedestrians will do when they pass you? Where are they going to look? Well, you can put it in a chat, but you know the answer already, and I think we have an agreement on this. A lot of people actually will look up. So what that tells you is that attention follows attention. So attention follows attention. And we are in a conversation, but I'm looking at my watch, and you're going to be looking at my watch. Attention follows attention. You're looking to another person. That person grabs the phone. You're distracted right away because his attention will go to the phone. Your attention will go to the phone. Now, so in the beginning of the webinar, I was mentioning noise. Well, here we have a source of distraction. No attention equals that, you're limiting a number of factors to make sure that you're getting that Mr. B is actually getting you. Am I right? So that is that would be the second requirement. So now we got number one, simply be there. Number two, direct your attention at somebody. Okay, once again, the booklet is a very handy tool. It will tell you exactly how to get there, how to reach that comfortably. Good. Now, we're actually going to go into a third requirement that you need, simply to get your communication across. That third requirement actually is intention. Now, intention is like what you intend. What do you intend? Well, what you intend is actually what you want to make happen, is what you want to occur. Is your intention is that you have a certain result that you have in mind that you want to occur. So, intention is what you wish to do or to have happen. Okay, and you have actually seen that countless of times playing out in front of you in real life, that some people actually did have intention and some people didn't have it at all, or it was very, very, very poor. And let's say a mom is really soft on her kids. And by soft, I mean like she's allowing way too much. The kid could cause all kinds of devastations, and she still wouldn't act. Maybe she grew up with an idea, oh, you shouldn't be too hard on kids. You shouldn't be too harsh on kids. Kids don't know any better. And you shouldn't lash out at them. You shouldn't yell, whatever it is. Now, I'm not for punishment at all. We don't want to correct people by punishing. We want to actually get things going by communication. And if somebody would have the communication skill, they actually make things happen with intention. Good. So here's this kid, and this kid just, bumps over a face, and there's now flowers on the floor, and the floor is soaking wet, and the mom goes, "Oh, Jimmy, please, Jimmy, can you not, please don't do that. I told you already yesterday, you should pay a little bit of attention, Jimmy, when you're running around the room." And you would look at the whole scene and you go like, what? That actually occurred yesterday as well. So you do a little bit more observation, right? And now the kid is starting to play with fire close to the carpet, and the carpet catches a fire, and the mom said, oh Jimmy, please, can you put those matches back, please? Jimmy, they belong in the kitchen. You know it's dangerous to play with fire, right? Well, you can see something is really, really off here, right? You have seen that, and you've been puzzled about it, and you've been probably in a very, very strong disagreement when you saw something like this happening. We said, well, I don't know what's wrong here, but something is way off. Okay, so let me give you another example. Let's say there's a robbery in a store, right? And this police officer comes in, and he's gonna act just like mommy. And so he says, oh, Mr. Robber, could you please lower your weapon? This is a nice community where everybody pays for their shopping. Would you be so kind to do that? You would know that police officer would actually not get anywhere. Now, if we look at that whole definition, intention is what you wish to do and really do it, or to have happen, which is the result. Intention is the result. You want to go for something. You want to get that thing across. So that policeman, that police officer, he could draw his gun and he said, stop! Stop right there! And he would really get his intention across. Now, that obviously has to be genuine. He has to mean it. He has to be 100% certain that that communication will reach the other end, and it will result in 100% duplication. He's probably not finished when it's a robber, but when he actually practices in being there, getting his attention across, he will note, he will find out that it is tremendously booming his confidence and his competence. So the step number 3, the requirement number 3, is actually to have intention. Now, this probably, you probably get this the best when I ask you, have you seen that sometimes people can be a bit doubtful or hesitant in their communication? Have you seen that? Have you seen people coming across a bit doubtful, a bit hesitant in their communication? Have you actually observed that? That's the question. That's a lovely idea of a policeman. Thank you very much, Ilona. All right. Okay, all they do, I grew up with a belt on my behind, and trust me, I don't misbehave. I trust you, yeah. You would probably say, you know, my mom actually could have used some communication skills, because then you probably would have said, I probably would have listened if she would have controlled me properly with a proper communication, right? All right, guys. So have you seen that? Have you ever seen this? You know, that some people, maybe even yourself, right? But maybe you've seen, maybe you have observed this. That some people might come across a bit doubtful, a bit hesitant in their communication sometimes. Have you observed that? That's just a question. Thijs, thank you very much. All right, anybody else? Kanishka, yes, okay. Nicolene, that's you. All right, thanks for sharing. That's honest. And I can tell you, Nicolene, there's a lot that you can actually do about it. Now, so if you would be a bit hesitant, a bit doubtful, it actually tells you that your intention is not fully in, and you're not really getting your intention across. Once again, if you don't really get your intention across, you will probably also notice that you're not really comfortably there in that kind of situation. So we go back to the first requirement, to comfortably be there. Once again, go to the booklet. It will give you the drill, and actually it will tell you how to get there. Right? So now we're having this. Let's say we're not having being there, we're not having attention, we're not having intention. Here's Joe, there's Bill, and Joe says, I think I'm going to buy a camper. Well, now we get this situation where very likely Bill is not able to copy that. He's like, Joe is not looking at him, he's not giving him any attention. There's no intention there. I think I'm going to buy a camper. That just simply doesn't come across. You notice right away, he's not there. He's simply not there. His body is there, mentally, he's somewhere else. So, if that will happen, this guy wouldn't get it. Okay? But now, let's do it correctly. Be there. Look the person in the eye, give the person attention, get your intention and say, Bill, I'm going to buy a camper. It's very simple, yeah? And you can see where it kind of like breaks down, yeah? So now we would actually, if you get all these points in, these requirements in, you would actually make sure there is a 100% copy. But hey, wait a minute. Because you can actually be there, you can actually put your attention there, you can actually get your intention across. But what about Mr. B? What about Mr. B? Because you say, hey, but Erik, but if the other guy is not there, and if the other guy doesn't give me any attention, well, then good luck, but I'm probably still not getting anywhere. All right, here's the crack. When you are comfortably there in a space, without nervousness, without stress, but very, very calm, your calmness will actually soothe the environment. In other words, the more you are there, the more you will help the other person to be there as well. The more you are gentle, friendly, and all these things, the more you will actually help the other person to be there. So, let's say you get the whole picture. Joe is there, gets the attention, brings the intention across. Bill, I'm going to get myself a camper. Now, the whole thing obviously is like, it went from him to him, and obviously like from here to there. Now, the funny thing is that the whole thing turns around. Now, he has to be there, give attention to the other person, put his intention in, and say, Bill, that's a great idea. Now, I'm actually a little bit performing as if this were a stage, but you know, it's not a stage play. This is like real life communication. All right? So, if we would actually formulate a communication formula, it would be the action of getting an idea across from a source point over a distance to a receipt point with the intention of bringing into being here an exact duplication of what was emanated from the source point. So when we have 2 times the same thing, we actually have understanding. Now, there is a lot more to know about this, and there was another book that actually I wanted to show tonight, also by the same author, L. Ron Hubbard. It says Scientology, a New Slant of Life. why do I actually bring this book? Now, in school, we were never taught anything about life. We were never taught anything about the mind. Nobody told us about how to improve our communication skills, or how to improve relationships, how to handle our ups and downs, how to know who we could actually trust, how we could be more effective, how we could be more organized, how we could make optimum choices in life, what were the secrets, the secret ingredients to make things work, like a marriage, or have success at work or in life. And this is such a book. This is actually a self-help book that covers all these things that I just brought up. Now, in the book, you will find an amazing chapter on relationships, and it's called the Affinity, Reality, and Communication Triangle. And we're going to be tackling that as a last subject before we're going to end up tonight. So allow me for a minute to clean something up here. Good. So we have here we have communication. I'm just going to abbreviate that by COM. COM stands for communication. All right, now there is a triangle of considerable importance, and that triangle gives us a much greater understanding of life itself. I'm about to show you the triangle. The affinity, reality, and communication triangle is the keystone of living associations. This triangle is the common denominator to all of life's activities. The first corner of the triangle is called affinity. All right, affinity for Thais, that would be afinidad, if I have it correctly in Portuguese. I know it is like that in Spanish. Affinity. Now, what does affinity mean? The basic definition of affinity is the consideration of distance, whether good or bad. All right, the consideration of distance. If I go on with what's in the book, it's also the degree of liking. And it's also the degree of distance. Now, how does that work? So, degree of liking. If you like somebody or something very much, you want to have it close to you. And if you don't like something or somebody, you don't want to have it close to you, but you want to have it further away from you. Yeah? So, the more you like it, your affinity is up. The more you like it, the more affinity you show, the more affinity you have, the closer you want to have things to you. The more your affinity drops, the less you like it, and the more you are going to distance yourself from it. There's more about this, but we don't have the time. So I'm just going to go to the next one here. The second corner, before I actually go there, so affinity is also expressed in emotions. Yeah, you have enthusiasm, you got conservatism, boredom, hostility or antagonism, anger, covert hostility, fear, grief, apathy. It's called an emotional tone scale. You learn a lot about that in that book, and it helps you a lot to communicate to people. Now, the second corner of the triangle is reality. And it says reality could be defined as that which appears to be. Reality is fundamentally agreement. What we agree to be real is real. All right, so let me put that in the corner, reality. And we say reality is what is real. And it's also agreement. All right, and then here on top, we actually have communication. And I just gave you the definition for communication. Affinity, reality, communication, they make up understanding. So here you have three more factors which are involved in understanding. Communication is the most important one, but there's these two little factors here which are intimately involved. I'm going to give you a very, very interesting, no, maybe not so interesting, I'm going to give you a very, hopefully a good example. So, let's say I'm a husband, I'm talking to the ladies, and I'm coming home and you just had a haircut. And you look absolutely beautiful. You look absolutely beautiful. So we have the same reality. We just have to voice it, right? So I have seen something that appears to be very real to me. And I'm in full agreement with that haircut. And I go, gosh, honey, you look absolutely fabulous. You're so beautiful. You've always been beautiful, but this haircut, it just fits you. This is perfect for you. Good, so now actually I just strengthened the reality. So I made that point of the triangle a bit larger. And I communicated about it. Now, as a result, most likely, let's say you would be my partner, you would actually like that. Your affinity would go up because your husband would say, oh, wow, you know, I was a bit in doubt, but he really loves my haircut. And maybe I just came home from work and that was the first thing I said, right? So right away, we're actually raising understanding. And out of nothing, that triangle actually started to grow. It'll become clear right away when we do the opposite. Let me see if I have another color. Let's do the opposite. I'm coming home. I'm looking at you. I'm completely shocked. I'm like, what the hell have you done to your hair? Oh my God. Babe, you should go right back. This is just horrible. This is absolutely horrible. So, now we have a complete disagreement, right? The reality is no longer real. Maybe you were happy with it. I wasn't. So now, this thing went all the way back. Now, would your emotion change? Would you be happy talking to me? Well, most likely, if you would be cheerful, you're not so cheerful anymore right now, and your communication might actually have gone down to some kind of like an animosity. So the communication would drop. Would you like me? Affinity. Would you like me? No, not really. So now this triangle has all of a sudden become very small. That's what we call an affinity reality communication break. Okay, now, so you need to, if you want to be really successful in life, that thing is just super duper handy to improve your relationship skills, to improve your communication skills, to really build relationships and do really well with others. The chapter in the book will tell you all about it, how to do that. And here's the fun fact. You might actually go to that next job interview or sit down with somebody, and you've gone through the concept of communication itself, you've done the drills, and you're sitting across a person that you might feel, maybe a person is like way more important than you. You grant them some eminence or whatever, and but now that your communication, now that you know everything there is to know about communication, and you're much better at it, you'll all of a sudden find out that that person has you controlling the entire conversation. And that's very, very, very nice if you can actually steer the conversation. Now, what do we want to steer it into? We want to steer it into something that's survival, pro-survival, where everybody wins. And if you do that, everybody will be very, very, very happy to have you around. All right, guys, it's 9 o'clock. I wish I could go a little bit deeper into the whole thing. And I really hope you got something out of this tonight. So we're going to end off. I want to make you an offer, because like we said in the beginning, a man is as dead as he can't communicate. He's as alive as he can communicate. Your success in life depends on your communication. My colleague Dita, she's going to put a link in the chat. Normally what we do is, that book is normally 17 euros. I'm going to give you a few questions so you have an idea what it's about. This one is normally 17 euros. We add this one, you get both for 17 euros, including shipping all over Europe. So, would you like to know why a person becomes unhappy and how you can remedy that? You'll find the answer in the book. Here's an interesting one. Would you like to know what are a few of your potentials and capabilities which you definitely have, but that you're not really aware of? Would you like to know what they are? You'll find that on page 27 in the book. Now, would you like to know how you can actually restore your own full potential? Page 75. Would you like to know how you can raise understanding between you and anybody else? We're actually going to go into that subject here that you're going to find on page 91. I'm going to give you one more. Would you like to know what are the exact characteristics of any sociopath, psychopath, narcissist? Would you like to know how you can spot them, how you can recognize them swiftly, quickly? Would you like to know why they act the way they do? You'll find the answer in the book, and I'm going to show that to you. Let me see. There it is. It's all about the antisocial personality. So, once again, these two, 17 euros, including shipping. The link is in the chat. Have a look. It's fascinating stuff, guys. Your success in life depends on your own skills. So, have a look. I'm going to have a sip of my ginger tea that also has cloves in it, cayenne pepper, and honey. Okay? I'll be back in 30 seconds. Good. All right, guys. So that offer, we normally keep it up till 9:30, and then after that, it goes back to its normal price. Okay, Nicolien, you have the book News Not Alive in Dutch. Fantastic. I actually also have it in Dutch, but okay, that's a little, I guess, a little secret between you and me. When I'm starting to read in English right now. Okay, guys, any questions? Do you want to ask anything pertaining to tonight? What we can do in case you don't want to bring it up tonight, but you would like to have like a personal chat, we could definitely arrange that. Just pop it in the chat with your name. Just, you don't have to add your name, but if you say personal chat, I'll be happy to contact you. But anybody, any questions with regards to what we covered tonight? Chichi, is there a code for discount after 9:30? Okay, well, should I contact you? Because then maybe we could actually, I can ask around, maybe we can work something out. Okay? Thijs, are you planning to have more classes like this? Yes, every week, every Tuesday. We used to do every Tuesday and Friday. And now, since summertime, you know, Friday evening, pub time, bar time, family time, summertime, and it became much more quiet on the Friday. So for now, up till the winter time, we decided to not do the Fridays anymore. We also noticed that, you know, on the Tuesdays right now, it's become a bit more quiet. That's fine, but we're still going during the entire summer and the entire year. We're actually continuing every Tuesday. So, all right. Thank you very much, Kanishka. Yeah, we had a little chat on the meetup. I hope you got something out of this. Maybe it wasn't the topic you were looking for. Maybe you hope to find something on another topic. But whatever that topic might be, keep checking the meetup or people who came in from Eventbrite. Because we have all kinds of topics. Knowing who you can trust, how to handle your ups and downs in life, how to let's say overcome traumatic experiences, losses, and these kind of things from the past, or upsets from the past. Study skills, how to improve your study skills. Clear body, clear mind, how to actually purify your body and become mentally much more alert. All these kind of topics we actually have, and we're covering them. All right, cool. Just wanted you to know my first class. Thank you, Thijs. You're very welcome. It was nice to have you. Thank you for your participation. Also, Chichi, thank you so much. You got one or two things tonight. Thank you again. My name is Erik. Erik, E-R-I-K. Very Dutch. Ilona, thank you so very much. Appreciate it. Kelvin, thank you very much. Guys, you've been absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful as listeners, audience, participating. We had a very, very lively chat tonight. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I really hope to see you again soon, next week. And once again, if you do want to make progress in life, if you do want to improve things, it all starts with data. Tonight you got one or two things. Do you want to get some more? Well, here's the book for you that you can use to build relationships, to get more done. In other words, to be more efficient, to be more organized, to know who you can trust, to make the best solutions and decisions. That is the book that everybody's been waiting for since we have been in school. It's a toolbox for life. So together with that, amazing deal. All right, guys. Once again, thank you, and hope to see you again next week or another time soon. Bye for now. Enjoy the rest of the evening.